Hey Joe, it's Folks here. In today's video, we're going to be going through 7 different things that a lot of people that are new to print on demand typically view as factual or things that they think are false. In this video, I want to clear the air. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe. I make a bunch of print on demand content here on my channel. The goal of all of this is to help you to start, grow, or scale your print on demand store on Shopify. If you're looking for some step-by-step training, I do have a free course. It's called POD for Dummies. There is a link down in the description. Inside of the course, you can access over 30 step-by-step videos that detail the process of actually opening a store. So check that out and make sure to drop a like on the video. It helps these videos to reach a wider audience, and selfishly, it helps my small channel to grow. So thanks for doing that. Like I said, we have about 7 different things that we're gonna go through today, and my question to you is, are these things true or are they false? I will put timestamps down in the first comment of this video, so if there is something that you wanted to skip to, you'd be able to. As we are going through them, let me know in the comments of this video if there was anything today that surprised you, meaning something that you thought was false and I said it was true, or vice versa. Our first topic here is whether or not Facebook ads are best ran for promoting print-on-demand products if you have a large budget. Now, I've seen many times people say things in Facebook groups that they would like to jump into Facebook advertising, they just don't have a large budget to be able to spend on it. And if you're someone that doesn't have any budget at all, then you're probably right. Facebook ads probably are not a great way for you to promote product. You could check out this video here on my YouTube channel where I detail some strategies where you can promote products for free. However, if you do have a couple of $100s where you'd be able to spend on advertising, that is perfectly fine to get started with Facebook ads. Also, keep in mind, when I say Facebook ads, I also mean running ads on Instagram because they are ran in basically the same way. The truth is that your budget really does not affect your overall success. What I mean is your budget really just determines how quickly your ad is delivered to your audience. Meaning if we took 2 situations, one where your budget was $10 a day and another where your budget was $50 per day, it would just take you 5 times the time to show the ad to the same amount of people if your budget was $50 a day if it was $10 a day. However, overall, your chances of making sales are not impacted based on your budget overall. So the verdict here is a statement like this would actually be false because you can run ads with a lower budget. It might just take you a little bit longer to show the ad to more people. In fact, when it comes to strategies that I teach, most of them are relatively low budget. I'm talking about spending $1 or $5 per day. Our next question is whether or not print on demand is too saturated for beginners. Now, print on demand is definitely a business model where saturation exists, meaning there are lots of different stores out there that are all trying to sell print on demand products to the same people. Essentially, what I'm saying is a lot of the niches out there have gotten quite popular. If you're going to sell to people who are teachers or nurses or people in the military or firefighters or something like that, there's probably going to be thousands of people out there who are attempting to do the same thing. So I guess this would be partially true. However, the way that you break through some of this saturation is by choosing better product. If you have watched a lot of my content here on my channel, you've probably heard me talk about this. At this point in the year 2022, products like t-shirts and mugs are extremely saturated. If your thought was to start a print-on-demand store and sell t-shirts just like everybody else, of course, you are going to be affected by the saturation with those products. It's going to be extremely difficult for you to break through that and make sales. This is because everybody else is basically doing the same thing as you. When it comes to making a design for a t-shirt or a mug, it's really difficult to make something that is truly unique. The best way to break through some of that saturation is to choose better products where you can make better designs that actually stand out and that are actually unique. That's really been the key to my success over the last several years. Inside of my print-on-demand Facebook group, I've been continuously sharing updates about the results that I've been able to achieve on my own stores. And at this point, a lot of the things that I talk about, they have worked for a lot of other people as well. Not only do I make a lot of YouTube content here, but I also have private coaching programs where I've helped people to launch successful stores. At this point, students of mine have made about $5 million $100 in sales on their own stores by simply choosing better products and selling in some of those competitive niches and breaking through that saturation because they're creating something a little bit more unique. At the end of the day, print on demand is a massive business model. There are so many niches out there that you can sell to, and really the key to breaking through some of that saturation is making sure that you're doing something different, especially with your product choice. Now, this next topic is somewhat controversial because I see it both ways, meaning I think sometimes this statement on the screen, whether a large catalog for new stores is true, meaning it is best for new stores, and sometimes I think it is false. And I really think it comes down to what is the overall strategy of your store. Regardless of that though, creating a large product catalog is a lot of work, and in most cases, creating that catalog at the beginning is not going to be a great idea, mostly because you haven't actually gotten any experience. If you're someone that's making a brand new store and you're gonna open it, and on your first one you plan to launch with like 30 different designs, it's going to take a decent amount of time to actually make those 30 plus designs. And the worst thing that could happen is when you finally launch, it doesn't actually sell. Then you're left with the realization that you might have just wasted all of that time creating all of those designs. A better strategy would have been to launch with a smaller catalog. Instead of launching with 30 different ideas, pick 5 of the ones that you think are the best and launch with those, and then that way you can get some feedback from your audience to see if things are actually going to sell. If they do sell, that's when you can begin to expand out and have a larger product line on your store. Another thing that a lot of beginners worry about is whether or not their store is optimized for SEO. Now, if you are creating a new store, SEO, in my opinion, is probably one of the last things you should be spending time on. Primarily because SEO is not really something that you focus on, meaning it's not really something that you set up. SEO is more so something that you earn over time as your site becomes more popular and as other sites potentially link back to your site with reviews or anything like that. Google will begin to recognize your site as a great place to send people, and it will rank higher in the search result. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not an SEO expert by any means. I'm just saying at the beginning with a brand new store, really no matter what you do, you're probably not going to be ranking on the first page of Google, and your time might be better spent learning how to market your products in other ways. If you have had success with SEO, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear some of the things that are working for you in order to get organic traffic from search engines to your store. Now, a lot of beginners as well, they're hesitant to jump into Shopify because they feel like they might lack the experience, and they think that building a Shopify site is something that only experienced web designers can do. Now, I am a prime example of that just being completely false, because the first store I ever built, it was my first time ever really building a store. I had no experience building a website, I had no experience building stores, and I was able to figure it out. I've also seen firsthand people that I've began working with who start their first store and they don't have any experience previously. The truth is, creating a Shopify store does not really take that much skill. Of course, you want to make sure that it looks nice, but Shopify makes it so easy for you to customize your store. You don't have to know any advanced coding, and really when it comes down to it, there's not much to it. At the beginning of this video, I talked about my free course, POD for Dummies. There's a link down in the description, and inside of it, I actually have tutorials in there on how you would actually go about customizing your store. So if you're a beginner and you're worried about doing that, you really don't have to be, because I'm here to tell you that it's not that hard. Another thing I see people say a lot is that the profit margins for print on demand are quite low. Now, while that is true for some products, there are dozens of products out there that can make you tons of profit. Right in this video here, I showed several that make you over $100 in profit. And then in this video here, I showed dozens of different products that make you a healthy profit margin, even if you're using some sort of a paid ad on Facebook or Instagram to make your sale. The truth is that products like mugs and t-shirts and stickers and potentially even hoodies are low profit. Typically for me, I like to choose products that give me at least $20 in profit margin. The fact is that there are literally dozens of products out there like that. You just have to know which ones to look at. And again, make sure to check out some of my other videos because I spend a lot of time making content showing you which products are high profit. A lot of people that I talk to as well are hesitant to start a Shopify store because they say things like, well, Joe, Shopify is $29 a month, and I get that, but what about all of the other apps that you need to install on your store? Isn't the only way to be successful with a Shopify store is to have all of these really expensive apps on it? And the answer to that is just plain not true. I have created several stores that didn't have a single paid app on them. I have created case studies of stores that have done tens of thousands of dollars in sales without a single paid app on them. The truth is that Shopify apps are really not necessary. Of course, they're cool. And if you have the budget to use them, of course, they can make your site look a little bit better, or you can do things to collect various data points from customers. But honestly, they are not necessary. There are certainly things when it comes to spending on your business that are going to be necessary, and then things that are just nice to have. Another thing like that would be an expensive Shopify theme. There are lots of themes out there that you can pay for that cost a lot of money, and they make your store look very pretty, but they are not necessary. You can achieve a great looking store on a free theme. If you want more information from me about what a recommended budget is for a print-on-demand store, and more importantly, what you should be spending money on, again, check out the POD for Dummies course. There's an entire lesson in there where I talk about all of the things that you would want to actually spend money on. So there you have it, folks. There are 7 things that I typically see a lot of people believe to be true, and I don't know if you were paying attention, but all of these today were actually false, at least in my opinion. So maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Let me know down in the comments which one of these things that we went through today is something that you agree with what I said, and if you disagree, let me know why. I'd love to hear your perspective on the topics that we talked about today. And like I said at the beginning, if you are new, make sure to subscribe. I put out tons of print-on-demand content. The goal here is to help you to start your store. Hopefully you did enjoy the video, and I will see you in the next one.